Oh
doing
shit! Hold
today?
on.
How was your move?
All right, there we go.
I think you just need to turn on that camera.
Me?
Yeah.
You don't see me?
Nah, let me. I don't
You don't
see.
see? Really?
Yeah, you're a black screen, bud.
What?
So we're here. I'm over here currently waiting for Jackson to join on, but welcome, guys. Sorry for the hiatus. It was, for us, Memorial Weekend. I hope you guys also had a good Memorial Weekend. I've always been a big old fan of Memorial Weekend. And looks like Jackson has returned to the call. Let's see if he... Yeah, I don't know why you keep showing up. Just no...
Let me go on the live stream.
What's up?
Let me go on the live stream.
Yeah, tell me if you see me. I could...
Hey, I'm right there.
You're there?
Yeah.
Okay, so it's just on my screen. Who cares? I can hear you perfectly fine.
Got some music playing. Woohoo!
Yeah, I just had to put down a little, but ooh, how was your Memorial Weekend?
I had a solid Memorial Weekend. How about yourself?
I can't complain. I went out on a boat, swam a little in a pool too, so I had a good time. How was your move?
Oh yeah. It was cool. It was cool. We divvied it up in 2 days, so it was super manageable. And yeah. So we're back home. We're in the suburbs of Chicago right now.
What suburb? Oh, my voice literally just cracked right there. What suburb are you even from?
I'm not from Naperville, but we moved to Naperville recently, like within the last year.
Oh,
So
okay, where? That's cool. Where were you? What high school you went to?
I went to St. Viator High School in Arlington Heights, Illinois.
Okay, where my roommates from last year, they went to River Forest, Oak Park.
Okay. I think that's
That's more Cook County.
yeah. Oh shit. I actually don't even know where Cook County is.
Yeah. Well, Cook County is like basically the county that surrounds Chicago, I think.
Okay, yeah, that's what I thought. I feel like it's more. I feel like those cities are more closer to me right now because Naperville, it's a little bit more west, southwest. So I think it's if I went west, those would be where it is.
True,
No,
that makes
east,
sense.
east, east, east. Thank God I wasn't born in like the 14th century. I'd screw that up.
So, what do you think of the NBA Finals so far? The matchup,
Oh,
Boston
I
versus
can't
Golden.
wait, dude. I can't wait. I'm licking my chops. I just went on, for Memorial Day. I was out of town for a little bit, and I can't believe I didn't make a preview video yesterday. I cannot wait to make a preview video. But this is as good as it can get. Boston's the best team the Golden State Warriors have faced. So I like Jimmy Butler. I hope we talk a little bit about Butler and the way the Heat series ended, but I am much more happy that it's the Celtics. So, yeah, how
So
about yourself?
I love it. Obviously, like my dad's a huge Boston Celtics fan. He went to school in Cambridge, like at MIT in Bentley in the '80s, and his like roommate, what his dad worked for the front office. So my dad in his office actually over there, I could go grab like pictures of him sitting behind the Celtics bench in the '80s.
Ooh,
So
hell yeah.
my dad's like a huge Celtics fan. I like the Celtics, but because they were always good in my lifetime, I never really like was a guy. Like I like them, but I always wanted to be more of a Magic, Timberwolves, Wizards fan because I like the underdogs. I like being a fan of a bad team that becomes good.
Mhm.
But I'm very happy that Celtics get there because what is it? They went with Brad Stevens 2 or 3 times to the conference finals. They went twice with Isaiah Thomas, right?
Yeah, they went at least twice.
Twice with Isaiah, once with Kyrie, right?
Did they make? I don't know. I actually don't know. It's a good question.
So I'm happy that Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown finally got over the hump. This is something that they've needed to get over the hump. This is legacy cementing, obviously, for the Boston Celtics duo. And you remember I don't know if you saw the Twitter video of when they're hugging and they're going, they thought we couldn't do it. They thought we couldn't play together.
Yeah. Yeah.
And was a very emotional moment. I thought that was It was awesome. It was awesome. And like you said, we got to talk about the Jimmy Butler thing because you could say the same thing. I was watching that game and I wanted Jimmy Butler to hit that shot.
Hmm. Yeah.
And when I look at this series, and this we'll go into right here, we'll talk about what we predict from this series, is this Boston Celtics team is going to be very reminiscent, and the series, I think, is going to be reminiscent to the Memphis Grizzlies series. How Memphis was probably the toughest opponent the Warriors had during the playoffs, and it was due to their switchability, their ability also to impose their physical will. But it was mainly, you remember, Brendan Clark, Jaren Jackson Jr., they were able to go out on the perimeter and switch and keep up with the Warriors, like, all-out space. And I think really it's going to be Derek White who is going to have to force the Warriors to beat, like, he's going to have to beat the Warriors because you're going to let Derek White sit on an island because he went, what, like 0-8 multiple times from three this playoffs?
That's so surprising to me because I know Derek White's I know he's a good basketball player.
Oh, he's fantastic.
Yeah.
I love him. He's hustle king. He's just, some nights he hits everything, and some nights he's literally ice cold.
Yeah, I wonder what it would be looking like. First off, what's good, Swaggy, and I think that's Shade Texan. What's good? How you guys doing? But I think, if I'm not mistaken, I don't know if they would be where they are right. I know Tyson White aren't like crazy players, but I don't know if they'd be exactly where they are right now, or maybe it wouldn't have been as easy. Like, those are two really critical players for them. Just adding more depth. I mean, think about who they had before that. It was like Ennis Cantor, who's garbage. Dennis, or was it Schroeder, who's
Schroeder,
he's solid, and then Bruno. But real quick, I want to talk about Jimmy Butler because when I was watching it, I was like, "Oh, it's Edward. It was good." When I was watching the Game 7 and Jimmy Butler took that shot with, what was it, like 14 seconds left, he took the three. He was trying to take the lead, or maybe 17 seconds, something
I think
like that.
it was close to like 10 seconds. I think there was still enough time because he could have passed it down low, or he actually could have taken out Horford to the rack.
Yeah, he could have done a bunch of different things. I guess if I'm Butler, I bet he goes back and he looks at it. He's like, all right, maybe I should have put my head down and drove to the basket. But I don't think that necessarily means that, he should have any regret or that he shouldn't have taken that three. I don't know if we've talked about it on this pod, but what's his name? Like Jeff Van Gundy. I think he's the biggest dork on the planet. And he was
Jeff or Stan, fat or bald?
The skinny bald dork.
That's Jeff.
Of.
Jeff.
Yeah, so Jeff, Stan's dope. Jeff, like, he's like, I hate that call, blah, blah, blah. And the guy, the guy agrees with him. I don't think it was Mark Jackson. I think Mark Jackson was the one who disagreed. He's like, no, like, this guy just put everything on the line for not only 7 games, but all game this game. He probably knows he doesn't have much in the tank for an overtime, possibly even, more than one overtime. He's feeling himself. He's playing good. He wants that shot. Like, I don't think that was a bad shot at all. I'm like, yes, thank you. Like, so it really sucks because I love Jimmy Butler as a Chicago boy, but man, he could have, like, that's a 50-50 shot. I know percentages with Butler will say that's wrong, but it's 50-50 right there. Like, if he makes that shot, he's like the smartest dude in the world. So it goes both ways, just depending on how it is. But the Heat played well, and Boston's they've got that special sauce. There's something about the Boston Celtics. They're just so deep. They're so good. They're so versatile. And Miami, I bet you something big happens with that team in the offseason. We'll see. I'm excited.
Yeah, so to go off your thing right there, Jimmy Butler, that shot is 50-50, 100%. He didn't have gas. That team didn't have gas left. They weren't trying to go into overtime. They weren't trying to tie it. They wanted to win. And you want your superstar to take that shot 10 out of 10 times.
Yeah.
That's how it is. If I have a superstar, the leader of my team, he has an open shot where he has no one around him for more than 5 feet, take that shot. Take that shot. It just, and he was hot. He had a great game, and take that shot. Now, I think The one argument you could make is, could he waited a few more seconds so more of his teammates came down the floor, so he would have had the opportunity to get a rebound. His teammates could have gotten a rebound to get a second shot attempt up. Yes, but that's also just looking back at all the past. You can't just live in the past. It's heat of the moment thing. This was a Heat team that was bruised and battered, and one could argue the reason they won was to tell Draymond Green to shut the hell up. But like you said, big moves are coming that team, and I don't want to put anything here, but I feel like the Kyle Lowry experiment was a failure in the sense that Kyle Lowry, when it push comes to shove in the playoffs, yes, he had some good games, but he missed a lot of games, and we kind of saw that Kyle Lowry's over the hill.
Yeah.
And I would not be surprised if they go into this offseason and we might not hear any reports about it. But what if on free agency we hear a sign and trade involving Kyle Lowry as the salary to match and he goes somewhere? I wouldn't be surprised because Jimmy and Bam are the two guys they need to build around. You have at least 3 to 5 years with Jimmy. I think 3 years of Jimmy being good, 5 years of Jimmy being able to actually play. And you need to develop Bam because Bam seems like he could be a light version of prime Orlando Magic Dwight Howard. So I think you need to just build the roster around that and maybe get a third guy who's still kind of young who could develop. Obviously, the dream would be a Donovan Mitchell, which would be impossibly hard to get just for Kyle Lowry. But yeah, like you said, it's going to be interesting this offseason because the Heat are going to make moves, and I don't think anyone's going to see it. Like last year, we knew Kyle Lowry was going to go there. This year, I think people are going to be shocked by the Miami Heat, similar to 2011.
I'm not saying rebuild. But dude, like Lowry, 35 years old, they need somebody else. The good news for the Heat, Gabe Vincent's dope. They found a diamond in the rough there with Gabe. But Kyle Lowry, he just averaged 8 points in the playoffs. I mean, in this
Duncan Robinson. I forgot they have to trade Duncan Robinson.
There's no one he's not even played, dude. It's crazy. But you got a Kyle Lowry who's 35 years old, scoring 8 points a game in the playoffs. In the season, he was solid. But as the year went on, I feel like you could definitely tell age was catching up to him. Jimmy Butler's 32.
3 to 5 years.
I don't know if he's got 3 to 5 years. You're saying he'll be at 37 possibly playing at this level?
No, 37 he's a role player. He can be a starter till he's 35. That's what I'm saying. He can stay on the roster till he's 37. I think he's a starter till he's 34, 35. Then I could see him being like that Andre Iguodala role till he's 37, 38, where he's kind of like the leader. He doesn't really play in the regular season. They kind of save him till the playoffs to be the defensive menace. Yeah,
I wouldn't completely rebuild it, but I wouldn't be surprised if Jimmy or Bam isn't a Heat player next season.
I don't think Jimmy. Jimmy has continuously said it takes a while to figure out where you're supposed to be, and this is home for him. And he is the Miami Heat culture. He shows up every morning at 4:30.
He's perfect.
I think Pat Riley has sex dreams about Jimmy Butler. I think Jimmy Butler's everything Pat Riley wants out of a leader.
Yeah, that's fair. So
Kyle Lowry and Duncan Robinson got to go, and I think Tyler Hero will be dangled as a sign-in trade because Tyler Hero is going to be I want Duncan Robinson money, and they're going to be look, if we give you Duncan Robinson money, we won't be able to play you because you're Jordan Clarkson.
So, yeah, it's going to be interesting, man. Tyler Hero's cool, but
you get what I mean.
I wouldn't pay him. Yeah, I wouldn't pay him that much money.
He's a 6-man.
Yeah. Defense can't do much.
literally, even if he tried on defense, he's not even a plus defender trying. So at that point, you're thinking, damn, are you really worth 4 years, 90 million, 5 years, 90 million, whatever it is they can offer him? No, you're more worth a Jordan Clarkson contract, which was like 4 years, 50 million.
Yeah, that'd be a fucking steal.
I mean, that's when you think about it, that's what Jordan Clarkson on. You're like, that's not actually that bad for Jordan Clarkson, paying him only like 12 million a year.
Yeah, that's super solid because I think Hero's better than Clarkson. So
yeah, and Clarkson's the former 6th man of the year.
Yeah.
So I just think right there, I made a video about that. I was like, they're gonna try to give him Jordan Clarkson money. He's gonna try to use Duncan Robinson's paycheck as like leverage, and they're gonna be like, look, if we give you Duncan Robinson money, we're gonna have to get rid of you.
Yeah.
Either way, let's get into this NBA Finals predictions, and then we'll start talking about some of these NBA rumors. Also, Quinn Snyder, did you read that article?
No.
So let's talk about this real quick. Quinn Snyder, according to Tim McMahon and Adrian Wojnarowski's future is unclear with the Utah Jazz, specifically due to the fact, first off, let's talk about this. He has 2 years left on his contract. Next year, he has an option. And they have already extended a new contract to him to extend him. He has not accepted it. The main reason is there's a philosophical difference between Quinn Snyder and the front office. What I specifically take from that is Danny Ainge and Quinn Snyder have two differing visions on what they think the direction of the franchise should be. And Quinn Snyder had hip surgery right after they exited the playoffs. The rumor is he has not expressed any interest for any team, and he's going to sit out. If he does leave, he will sit out this entire NBA season and be the most sought-after coach going into the following year. And there is no timetable, or we just have no idea how long this will take to resolve itself. If he hasn't given any sort of timetable or date that they'll make a decision.
Because of the hip, or is it kind of everything?
No, it's philosophical differences between Danny Ainge
on the future.
Yeah, basically they were kind of vague, but they said the front office and Quinn Snyder. So basically the coaching staff and the front office have philosophical differences. And when I think they mean by that is they have different visions on what the future should be.
Yeah, they're just not seeing eye to eye.
Yeah, I think Quinn Snyder's maybe going like, don't trade my guys. I developed all these guys. And Danny Ainge is like, I think we should blow up the team. And Quinn Snyder's like, I've literally coached these guys for 6 to 8 years now. Basically the same team. He's like, don't get rid of my boys. Or maybe Quinn Snyder's like, get rid of these guys. And Danny Ainge is like, yeah, I don't really like making moves. I like just sitting here and looking for the best trade possible.
Yeah, I think it was the first one as well. With Quinn Snyder wanting to keep the boys, but I think they're a little bit too old. I mean, Utah, can you win with Donovan Mitchell and Rudy Gobert? I'm sure there's a way.
Mitchell, not Rudy.
But I'm sure there's a way to be better than what they are right now.
Oh yeah, you got to trade Boyan and Jordan Clarkson and Mike Conley.
Yeah, I'd trade all three of those players. I mean, I'd almost do a full clean house outside of maybe, I would pick Mitchell over Gobert.
So every single day. Just not even because of skill set or position, it's also contract. Donovan's on a way better contract. He's Rudy's going to be making $40 million at the end of that deal.
Yeah. He's making 35 right now. Jeez. So I would pretty much blow up that squad except Mitch. But, who do you put around Donovan Mitchell in order to maximize him?
Keep Royce O'Neal, because Royce O'Neal is very reminiscent to Jay Crowder, PJ Tucker. He's a 6'6" power forward. I love those guys. People always why do you say Royce O'Neal? He's a 6'6" 3-and-D power forward.
Yep.
He just does the little work. He's literally the perfect guy. He's making $7 million a year. Why would you get rid of him?
Exactly.
Rudy Gobert. Okay. I get you would trade Rudy Gobert, and if you want to stay big, you bring back Hassan Whiteside, and you go Hassan Whiteside and Udoka Azubuike. If you really just want to stay big, I doubt if they trade Rudy Gobert, they stay going big. They probably want to go reminiscent to what the Miami Heat do, and try to get one of the Morris brothers or a PJ Tucker, or just keep Royce O'Neal and then go get themselves, a center along the lines of a JaVale McGee and guys who are rim runners. And then you would probably throw around him. I mean, they have some young guys in Nikhil Alexander-Walker and Jared Butler who could make up, and Trent Forrest, who could be some depth guys. But when you think they're a starting lineup, you got to go. I mean, you got to think about defense. Like Danilo Gallinari is going to be in free agents, so Danilo Gallinari would be cool at power forward to stretch the floor. I'm a very big fan of four out, one in. So
yeah,
basically you have 2 to 3 big men that you rotate. Similar, I really like what the Washington Wizards did that year with Russell Westbrook, where they would start the game with Alex Len, play Alex Len for a quarter or so. Then they would put in Robin Lopez every time Alex Len would be a breather. And then they would save Daniel Gafford and have Daniel Gafford only play 12 minutes a night, a.k.a. play the entire fourth quarter as entire fresh legs. And they would just run like 50 pick and rolls a game and have Russell Westbrook or Bradley Beal drive and drop it off to the center, who would just do a hook shot or kick it out to a three-point shooter. That is the most basic modern-day offense that I think any team, if you just copy it, get Donovan Mitchell and another ball handler, 2 to 3 big centers, and a bunch of shooters and floor spacers, just run a shit ton of pick and rolls, drive and kick, drive and drops, like they'll drop like handoffs to the center, or drive and draw the foul or finish out the rack. I think that's the easiest offense you can install. Like you literally, it's very rudimentary, but that philosophy, if you can just install that, then you can start adding motions and off-ball plays. But if you just create the pick and roll of fear, teams won't be. I just think ISO ball is terrible unless you get to the playoffs. You need players who can do ISO ball in the playoffs.
Yeah, for sure. So,
okay.
Finals?
Yeah, that's what I was going to say. I was like, we went on a tangent right there. Okay, so the odds to the NBA Finals, they're running down below, but I'll just spread for the Warriors for Game 1. This is Game 1, ladies and gentlemen. Game 1, the Warriors are 9-0 at the Chase Center in the playoffs. They're a favorite to win, as they are, like I said, 9-0, and they're also 5-1 against the spread in the last 6 games. So the over-under is 211.5, and money line's negative 175 for the Warriors, plus 146 for the Celtics. Taking Game 1 at not Oracle, I guess this is Chase Center. This is the Chase Center. What do you got?
I'm gonna go Golden State. I think that's going to be a reason why they win it. Here's my thoughts on this series summed up. I think that so first off, I don't know if you listened to Draymond Green's podcast, but basically
bits and pieces.
He was kind of saying like, people don't watch Steph, people don't watch the Warriors. They think that he needs the Finals MVP this year to validate himself, like cement his legacy. I think Finals MVP would be crazy for Steph, and I really want him to win it. And even just as far as winning the series goes, I think it'll be like probably 7 games. I think Golden State probably cleans it 7th game. But they absolutely need, as we were saying, Boston is the best team Golden State will play, or has played, I should say. They need Klay Thompson to get going. Whoa, what is that?
John Bad is the
cool.
Bad. I just want to show you that. Continue.
That's sweet. I think Klay Thompson, if they don't get Klay Thompson going, it's over. I think Boston will surprise them, because if Klay's not going, Steph isn't going to be able to do his thing. When the offense is working as everyone together, and you have guys like Klay making his shots like we saw at the end of last series, and you have guys like Jordan Poole contributing, it makes not only them all feel like they're contributing and feeling, like they're helping out, and it gets the chemistry, it gets them all boosted, but it really allows Steph Curry to just kind of do Steph Curry things. I mean, even just his presence alone is enough. And if you got Klay Thompson making 5 threes a game, you got Jordan Poole coming off the bench for 20, it's going to make it a lot more difficult. And you got Wiggins, Dre, they're chipping away as well. I just think it's going to be a great series, but I'm really hoping that Boston's inexperience in this position and Golden State's veterans and their core being together and have played for so long and being in this being in this spot like before, I think that's what gives them the edge because Boston's a really good basketball team, man. They are a great defense, and they know exactly what do they have the best record since against the Warriors since something like that. Since something.
I think
So
2018.
2018. Okay. So they just they're gonna make it really tough, but I'm hoping Brown and Tatum not like fumble, but I'm hoping that they just aren't playing at their peak performance because they're those dudes.
So we saw in, I'm going to pull up a few. First off, both teams have a turnover rate of 15%. I think the Warriors at 14.6. No, I think the Boston are at 14.6, and the Warriors are both at 15%. Both teams turn over the ball 15% of their possessions out of 100, I believe the stat is. Second off, we saw Draymond Green guard Jalen Brunson while Andrew Wiggins guard Luka Doncic. So that gives us an idea that Draymond Green will probably guard Jaylen Brown and Andrew Wiggins will guard Jason Tatum. And this, like I previously mentioned, what they're going to be doing is the reason Draymond guarded Jalen Brunson was because the Mavericks love to do guard on guard screens where they have another guard literally set a pick on another guard and just try to create mismatches. So that's what they were trying to, offset with Draymond being on Jalen Brunson. I expect Jaylen Brown and, like I previously mentioned, Jaylen Brown and Jason Tatum to be the focal point of the defensive attack for the Warriors. And that will leave Al Horford. Robert Williams, he looked really bad coming back from injury. He doesn't look like himself. So I can't give any prediction on what Robert Williams will see. I don't know if we'll see like the dominant rim protecting, rim dunking, rim running guy that is in Robert Williams, or we'll see this kind of passive Robert Williams that we saw in the Game 7 against the Miami Heat. But I think it will come down to Grant Williams, Derek White being off ball, as well as Al Horford, Jason Tatum, and Jaylen Brown. When they go ISO, what they're going to do is whoever's guarding Derek White and Jason Tatum are going to start out, do their little ISO mumble jumble at the top of the key. And when they attack, whoever's guarding Derek White or maybe even Al Horford is going to leave that guy in double either Jason Tatum or Jaylen Brown. And when they do that, they're going to leave Al Horford or Derek White as they're their two worst three-pointing shooters in the seven-man rotation that the Celtics use on an island and just dare them to shoot the ball. And I think this will come down to the way the Boston Celtics will have to beat them is obviously Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown will have to play good. Second off, they got to stop handing the ball over. Like Jaylen Brown, he worked on his game so much, but his ball handling has regressed. He literally sometimes goes from being a tight dribbler to just sloppy and just hands the ball over to the other team. And we saw that multiple times against the Miami Heat where instead of, like, like how the Warriors turnovers are because they try to do too much or make the beautiful play always. And like, it'll be like Steph trying to thread the needle between three guys. While the Celtics, their turnovers are Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown driving to the paint and then just forgetting how to dribble for a second. And then, oh, here you go, have the ball. And I think you got to cut down on the turnovers. And if you watch the Ime Udoka press conferences, he's always just literally just berating his team. He's like, we got to stop the turnovers. It's the whole team. We need to stop the turnovers. I think whoever wins the turnover battle is going to win this playoffs. Second, if the Celtics are going to win this, it's because Derek White, Grant Williams, Al Horford will be hitting their three-point shots. I think that's because you have to think about it. It's all it's going to be is Jason Tatum, Jaylen Brown scoring both 20 points. And when they're not scoring, it's going to be driving kicks because they're going to get double teamed. When they get double teamed, they're going to be leaving Al Horford or Derek White wide open because they're going to tell Derek White just to shoot it every time. They're going to be like, Derek White, you can take it. You remember how the Cavs used to leave Draymond Green on an island in the playoffs? They're going to just do that to Derek White. They're going to be like, Derek White, you can just stand in the corner. And the Celtics are going to be, if I was Derek White, I would be in the gym on the, the gun, what the gun is?
No.
It's, it's the thing you shoot and it shoots the ball back.
Yeah.
It's called. It might have a different name. Me and my friend call it the gun when we use it at the rec, where you can like put up.
You can use that at the rec.
Yeah, my rec center at school has a gun. Has like 2 guns. We just
Oh
go in.
hell yeah! Wow.
Yes. So sometimes I'll show up at like 7 in the morning and put up like 1,000 shots till 9 o'clock.
Damn.
Yeah, my roommate, when he used to play high school basketball, he could have gone to like Dartmouth and like Central Arkansas for D1, but he was like, I used to have to hit 1,000 shots every game day and bring my like printout to his coach that he hit 90%, so he could have a green light during the games.
Oh my god, dude.
Yeah,
Wow.
he's like, my coach wouldn't let me have a green light or take as many shots as I wanted unless I showed him that I hit. He was like, I think it was 3 times that week leading up to the game that he could hit 90% of 1,000 shots.
Oh my god.
Yeah, so that way he could have a green light in games and be just pulling up anywhere.
That's dedication and
Dude,
talent. Wow.
I used to be an okay basketball player, and ever since I became friends with my current roommate, and he started teaching me just like little small things. Oh my god, just like how to move your hips on defense to like just proper just shit that you wouldn't even think about, how when you're driving, how to carry the ball so it won't get stripped and shit like that. Like he's really funny to watch at the rec, just work people all the time without like breaking a sweat.
We're gonna have to 1v1. Whenever I meet you in person, we're gonna have to 1v1 right there on the spot.
I'm down.
Because all I can do is shoot. That's it. That is literally it. Yeah.
I'm like King Hustle. All I do is rebound. Also, this is like so unhealthy.
Yeah. What is that? Oh, you got you're double cannon the Red Bulls.
Yeah, but I got like
one of them's huge. Damn, I'd love it. I gotta stop drinking Red Bull. I just like it.
I love it, but my sister got me freaked out.
Why?
Because my stomach was hurting, and I had gone a week and a half drinking them straight, and she was like, "Yeah, I got like a bladder infection from drinking too much Red Bull." She told me, and I was like, "You're lying." And my sister's like 24.
Oh
like,
no!
Way. And that's why like last week and for like a week and a half, I was drinking coffee only. Because I was like, I'm gonna take a 2-week break off of Red Bull.
Damn. All right. Yeah, I'm done with Red Bull. I had my last one last night. All right.
So, but she said it's fine to have them like 3 to 4 times a week, but don't be drinking them religiously.
Yeah.
Which is like my problem sometimes. I love studying with a Red Bull.
It's immediate. It's fast acting. Tastes all right.
It doesn't make me shit my pants like coffee does.
Mm-hmm. Exactly.
When I drink a Red Bull, whenever I drink coffee, I have like 5 minutes to find the nearest bathroom.
For real though. I don't know how people bring I always wondered in class how the hell are people drinking a full freaking iced coffee? What?
They had to have shit before they came. They had to have worry shit.
They're coming right from the bath. They must be coming from the bathroom from it. That's my least favorite thing in class is having to. No, I'm all set with that. So I never did that. I never brought a coffee to class, although I always wanted to. It's just something I could never pull off.
I have brought coffee to class, but every time I've ever brought coffee to class, I've made sure to bring gum or Tic Tacs because coffee breath is the worst.
It is the worst. I hate that shit so much. That's good. I've never thought of that, so I got to start just carrying some on me.
Dude, literally greatest thing I've ever done was I'm literally pulling this out of my backpack right now because I know it's in here.
Are you back in Kansas or?
No, I'm right now at my dad's house. I just went downstairs. You always just got to carry gum on you.
Those are tasty things right there.
Yeah, I'm like a huge proponent of always carrying gum.
I love the way those things taste, or I love the first few bites of those.
Yeah, because they're hard. Now, so what is your prediction? Game 6 or Game 7 or series for the Warriors? Obviously, you chose Warriors.
Warriors sweep. No, I'll go Warriors in 7. I think we're gonna get a good back and forth. Every game will be good.
I think if it goes to 7, it'll be the Boston Celtics. But I think if it goes to 6 games or even 5 games, it's the Warriors. I just think the longer you drag this out, the better for the Celtics. What is it? The Celtics have already had 2 Game 7 series.
Okay.
Warriors haven't had a single Game 7 in this playoffs. So I just think the Boston Celtics, they're meant They want to go to distance. They're built to go to the distance.
Okay.
And I think the Warriors, if they were pushed to the distance, they haven't been tested to that limit yet, while the Celtics have been tested twice. Plus, who has more to lose in this finals? I think the Warriors have more to lose.
Yeah.
And from a legacy standpoint, this finals is way more impactful for the Warriors players as they came back. But with the Celtics, they're still young. It would just look like Jason Tatum and Jaylen Brown effed up their first time. They'll get it again. They really have nothing to lose. They've exceeded expectations. While the Warriors, isn't this kind of to be expected with a fully healthy Klay Thompson, Steph Curry, and Draymond Green? So I think there's more on the line for the Warriors, while the Celtics are guys playing with nothing to lose, and I think that's something scary.
Yeah. Yeah. Don't forget about all-star starter Andrew Wiggins, though.
I don't even think you call him. This is a different guy than all-star starter Andrew Wiggins. This is playoff Andrew Wiggins. This is ice in his veins Andrew Wiggins. This is Andrew Wiggins with vengeance. Andrew Wiggins angry. I made a video that geeked me out where the first 30 seconds were just like Andrew Wiggins lost a 10-year, $180 million contract with Adidas and is now sponsored by a Chinese shoe company called Peak.
What?
He lost his when he got traded from the Timberwolves to the Warriors, Adidas terminated his 10-year, $180 million contract with them. He had a shoe deal, and
idiots.
I think they had some reasons. He probably wasn't pushing any shoes, and they hadn't given him a signature shoe yet. And he signed probably a very small multi-million-dollar deal, still very probably well paid, with this company called Peak. They're like bright banana yellow shoes. They are horrendous.
Perfect.
But yeah, wouldn't that suck? 10 years, $180 million. They just goodbye your 18 mil a year.
It's like a vasectomy. Just rip them off. Cut them off. Tough.
Are you guys? Is Loyola Chicago? What school are you? Are you guys in an Under Armour, Adidas, Nike school?
I have no idea.
What's your school's uniforms made out of?
I don't know. I don't know. I don't know. Shit.
So KU has the largest endorsed sponsorship in all of college sports. I think they get paid $65 million a year from Adidas for being our apparel sponsor. The second closest is UCLA, getting $45 million a year from Under Armour. Yeah, Adidas was willing to pay an extra $20 million because our contract expired the year we got the investigation for 5 level 1 infractions.
Okay.
And they were like, yeah, we know it's kind of sus that you want to stay with us, but we'll pay you $20 more million than anybody else. And KU was just like, you know what? We are facing infractions that are making recruiting pretty tough. We'll take $65 million.
You know what? Deal.
Our football program sucks really bad, so the $65 million really makes up for it. KU football are so geek. Let's go KU football next year. Shout out Thomas Perry.
Thomas from outside Toronto. What is good?
Go Raps. Actually, speaking of the Raptors, first off, I made a video regarding this, and supposedly this is all outside noise by rival executives, but Masai Ujiri has allegedly made OG Anunoby open for trade or available for trade, and they are looking for potential trade partners for OG Anunoby. Again, Raptors fans have said this is just smoke screens put out by rival executives.
Yes. I like it. I actually made a pretty long Raps video last night. And OG is that one guy where I'm like, first couple of games of the playoffs, with Siakam struggling, Freddie's hurt, Gary's sick. he was the guy. He was like the only dude in the starting lineup that was like producing, because you also had Scotty injured. Like the playoffs were a mess for the Raptors. Just so many things going on. But OG was that freaking dude putting out. He was giving you like 20. You know, he wasn't doing anything crazy, dropping like 40 bombs, but he was giving you 20. We know what he can do on defense. We know he can hit threes. And I believe is he now 24? Like the dude is he's so freaking talented. He's 24 years old, man. There's no way they are trading him unless they're getting. But real quick, one of the things is, as much as I don't want him to trade OG, as much as I don't want him to trade Siakam and Freddie, and I don't think it's going to happen, if they were to do it, he's like that. He's one of those GMs where it's like, all right, this doesn't make sense to me, but I'm going to let you do your thing. I'm going to trust it. Let's see the vision, right? Because he's playing chess. He's thinking 5 years from now right now. So we'll see. What do you think?
So in the past 2 seasons, first off, I have been a big proponent that I believe that OG Anunoby has the talent to become one of the next best two-way wings along the lines of Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. I'm not saying that he's going to be that good, but you know how Paul George and Kawhi Leonard were guys who came in with being defensive first guys who their offensive game caught up eventually, and they became just as good defensively as they are offensive, and that there's certain guys, like you could put Chris Middleton in there, Paul George, Kawhi Leonard. There's probably a few other that they're 6'7" two-way wings who can guard 1 through 4. And OG Anunoby this year, he basically had career highs: 17 points, 1.5 steals, almost 3 assists a game, 5.5 rebounds, shot 37% from 3, 44% from the field on 36 minutes a night. But in the past 2 seasons, he's only played 91 games.
Yeah.
Out of a possible, 64.
Oh no, it's 54 because of the
54. Yeah, 54. So, and then he's never played a full season. And I know he's played basically, besides the past 2 years, at least 60 games, which means he's only missed 10 games, which means he's probably missed 1 to 2 games every few weeks. It becomes hard. It becomes hard because I love Pascal Siakam was reborn as an All-NBA player, the third All-Team, like a potential third-team All-NBA-esque player when he was like that 25-point scorer, getting almost 10 rebounds a game while dishing almost 10 assists a game. He was like basically a demigod there. But then you have, I don't know. OG's on a really good deal. I think and I like Pascal. I like everybody on this team, and I think the only players you could really think about trading are Fred VanVleet and Gary Trent, because you could argue that they don't fit the timeline, or Gary Trent fits in more. Fred VanVleet's a little older, but Gary Trent and Fred VanVleet don't fit what they're trying to do with like the length.
Yeah, the thing with Fred, and I know a lot of Raps fans disagree with me on this, is because I see Tom is saying, I think OG is one of the players he thinks he could be traded, but I think it's Freddie. I mean, what sucks is there's kind of like a sour taste of Fred right now because of, like, he was hampering a hamstring pretty much the last 30 games or 20 games of regular season, 30 games in total or what have you. So I just don't know, like you said, he doesn't necessarily fit that long, big and long, but I think that they'll go through another year of development and progression. It's a very interesting team. I'll tell you that. I
just think Precious Achiuwa, Pascal Siakam, and Scotty Barnes and OG Anunoby all fit together really well.
Yeah, I agree. And then even GTJ is
as a 6-man
chipping away.
It's great. I love GTJ as the 6-man. I love that was something and that's nothing wrong. I think he has the talent to be a starter, but like he's a starting level player. But I think there's certain guys in certain situations they're better utilized as off the bench guys. And I think Gary Trent is just that guy that for the Raps he would be best utilized coming off the bench as the guy with the green light to drop 30 points.
I'm starting GTG.
You're starting I just like the idea of starting Precious at the center position, Pascal at power forward, OG at small forward, Scotty at point, and then you throw in at shooting guard, obviously, as of right now, Fred VanVleet. But the idea would be to get another lengthy guy who's 6'7" at the shooting guard. So then you just basically have at the 1 through 3, 3 guys who are 6'7", then a 6'9" power forward and a 6'10" or 6'11" center and Precious Achua, and everyone's spacing the floor and running in transition.
I do think that Gary off the bench with Precious in the starters would be interesting. I just don't know. I don't know if the Raptors have enough offensive playmaking. I guess really, like I don't think Siakam's huge for him as far as playmaking goes. Like before that, Siakam came back at the start of last year, they'd have some. I mean, even with Siakam, you'd have some runs where it's like no one's really able to do anything right now. So. They've got a very interesting roster. I say they see how Precious does next season and go from there because he progressed not only so much from Miami to Toronto, but I think he shot either 40 or close to 40% from downtown at post All-Star break. So I mean, he improved a lot as the season went on.
Yeah, he became a double-digit scorer from the All-Star break. It was, like he said, almost a 40% three-point shooter. Like he had multiple games where he was hitting over 5 threes a game. It felt.
Yeah, it was like what?
Yeah,
it's crazy.
Well, people forgot when James Wiseman got hurt and left Memphis, who became the leading scorer for the Memphis Tigers.
Precious. That's sick. I didn't know that.
Yeah, cool. I only know this just because from like my draft analysts every year. That's part of the reason why it does. It really helps you when a few years after they've been in the league, you're like, oh shit, I can go back to like a draft analyst I did 2-3 years ago, and I remember like what they were doing in college.
Mm-hmm. Yeah.
Now, like you said, I don't think the Raptors make any moves unless they can get a Rudy Gobert for cheap or somebody for cheap. I think, like you said, they go this year with a very similar roster. Maybe the depth pieces like Svi Mikhailiuk leaves and a few of the other guys who were kind of worthless leave, and they bring in other guys. But besides that, I think the roster will stay the same, and we'll see if there's any moves, it'll come at the trade deadline the earliest. But I think they go into this season and play the whole year. Same team, basically, same starting lineup. Run it back. Let's see if they'll grow and develop to something better. And if they feel like they've hit their ceiling in terms of what they can be, that they'll make a move next year or in the trade deadline if they feel like they need to make a move so they can become contenders that year.
Yeah, I definitely agree. Get some bench pieces. Continue to develop, continue to progress. Keep they were 5.5, 6.5 games out of first this year.
Yeah, 100%, and without a true center.
Yeah, and injuries. Just every game, somebody was injured or sick or whatever. So I'm excited.
I think the one thing right here, there's no true. And look, there are 20-point scores on that game, but there's no true ISO score. There's no. I want to put it like this: there's no Bradley Beal, there's no Jimmy Butler, there's no, a Steph Curry or a Luka Doncic or a guy there, kind of even a DeMar DeRozan-esque type player who, when the game is turned sloppy in playoff basketball where everyone's shooting under 40% from the field, under 30% from three, there's no one on the Raptors who goes, give me the goddamn ball. I don't care that I bricked the last 5 shots. I'm going to keep freaking attacking ISO. I'm going to put the team on my back. I'm going to drop 40 inefficiently just to keep us in this game, which there's no scoring dog, ISO dog who I feel like that's the one problem with the Raptors.
I can see that for sure. I think Freddie does a good job at doing that sometimes or most of the time or, a good amount of times, but they lack that. Yeah. They lack that consistent, reliable, kind of that JB, but Siakam and Freddie, I feel like they kind of share that. So yeah.
Yeah, our boy Thomas Perry literally said it right there. Pascal's better served as an off-ball guy instead of, off the main guy. Like Pascal can create, and that's awesome. But yeah, there's no Jason Tatum.
Yeah.
Like you're going. There's 2 minutes left in the game. You're down 93-91. Give the ball to Tatum and call an ISO, and everybody knows that Tatum's going to do something.
Yeah. Because,
And
you could argue either of those players, Freddie or Siakam, like, you don't know.
like they're awesome, but I think they're more second or third options.
Yeah, 100%. Yeah.
And it's nothing against the Raptors. The Raptors have developed a fantastic basketball team. There is just shout out Shay Texton. What up, dog?
Hello, Shade.
And that's the thing is I only see them making a trade this offseason if they can get a dog. And honestly, I would love for them to get Zach LaVine. Zach LaVine, would you trade Fred VanVleet or OG Anunoby or any one of the guys who have a bigger contract in a sign and trade for Zach LaVine? I would also like to hear the Raps fans or anyone. Would you trade?
Well, what's tough is I don't, because my thoughts on Zach LaVine are I think he's such a big liability defensively where he doesn't do enough offensively in crunch time for me to, like, I don't care if he isn't a Chicago Bull next year. Like, personally, like, he's so cool, and I wish he becomes that guy, or like, because he's really talented, but I just don't know if I can put my full faith in the Chicago Bulls franchise on Zach LaVine and paying him 5 years, $220 million, because it seems to crumble when it matters the most. I don't know if I can really rely on him that much. There's just a lot, but maybe the thing is, like, I don't want to have if I'm the Raps, I don't want to have a backcourt of Fred and LaVine. But I also don't know if the Bulls would be licking their chops to get Freddie. It'd have to be like almost like Freddie and X. But
Picks.
Yeah,
Picks,
well,
probably.
We'll see. That's a really good question. I'll have to kind of try and let that marinate and maybe make a video on it, because that would be really interesting if you give Toronto just that guy, that scorer, a guy who can just score. So
it would either be Fred VanVleet or Pascal. I would assume they'd have to give up to match the contracts. Probably closer. It'd probably be Pascal, because I think Pascal would be the closest to match the contract that Zach would get. I just think, first off, Nick Nurse is a significantly better coach than Nurse Pill. Nick Nurse is one of my favorite coaches, has an incredible autobiography. If you haven't read it, again, I will tell everyone to read his autobiography. It's so good. I think Billy Donovan is a very offensive-centric guy, and he's done a good job coaching defense. And plus, I think the Bulls' defensive woes are a culmination of having a DeMar DeRozan and Vooch and Zach LaVine, all three on the floor at the same time, because that's just horrible defensive planning. Like, you have a center who doesn't play defense. You have DeMar DeRozan who doesn't play defense, and you have Zach LaVine who doesn't play defense. And your plan is just to throw Lonzo Ball and Pat Williams in between them. So I think Nick Nurse, if he brought in Zach LaVine, he would be way better at scheming up. Because imagine Zach LaVine and Scotty Barnes as the backcourt. Zach LaVine as the shooting guard, Scotty as the point guard. Throw in OG at small forward. Then if you get rid of Pascal, you have Precious at maybe power forward, and you have somebody else at center.
I don't know. Interesting.
I'm done with the Raptors now. We're gonna move on from Raptors talk. I have no idea what else we could talk about right there. Either way, man, there are some rumors going on in the NBA. First off, I like to say the NBA draft is around the corner. And with that being said, there's going to be a trade in the NBA draft.
Oh, yeah.
And I don't know who it's going to be for, but there's a lot of parity in this draft. There's only 3 guys that you will say are going to be guaranteed All-Stars, and Banchero. And I'm not a Chet Holmgren guy at all. I think Chet Holmgren's Andrea Bargnani 2.0, who's a better rim protector and a little bit more mobile. But I'm not sold on it. I think Jabari Smith and Paulo Banchero are the truth, and so is Jaden Ivey. I think Jaden Ivey's John Wall as a shooting guard. But it's just, man, you look at the NBA and you think about the trade pieces, and there's not many actual good guys to trade for. You got like the Colin Sextons, you got Rudy Gobert, you got Zach LaVine allegedly. I don't see anything. I think teams are going to try to go and get one of these Keegan Murray, a Jeremy Sohan. They're going to try to find rookies that they can put in day one to make an impact. That I don't know. Do you keep up with the draft at all?
I don't think you're. I don't think you're going to get too many of those. I think my draft projection is, I think it's going to go Jabari, Paolo, Chet, Jaden.
Dude, thank you. I made like 3 like mock drafts saying Chet was going to go 3rd, and everyone's like, no, he's not, because Sam Presti's obsessed with length. But I'm just like, I think all the GMs are going to be like, Chet Holmgren's never going to be able to bang low against Joel Embiid or Nikola Jokic or a Jonas Valanciunas or a Steven Adams.
Yeah, I don't. I think people will start to realize how, especially talented, Paolo is, can be.
He was amazing during the tournament. The best NBA prospect in the tournament was Paulo Banchero.
Yeah, he's really good. So I don't know where, as a Rockets guy with having the 3rd pick, I'm good with either. I'm not as anti-Chet as you, but
I'd rather have Chet at 3 than 2.
Okay, yeah. So either way, I feel fine with it. As far as trades go, I bet you Portland does something. I don't know what they're gonna do. I made a Blazers video last week, and they were like, let's take someone at 7. I think it might be a little bit risky. The Blazers are in such an unideal spot as it is, with Dame being 32. I think Sacramento doesn't trade it. I think that they'll take that pick. I think there's enough talent at 4. Even if they don't go Jaden and they go Sharp or even Keegan. I think I'm huge on Dyson Daniels. I'm very I don't know as far as trades what we're gonna see. I really don't. There are guys I'm big on around 10 that I'm not as big on AJ Griffin. I'm not as big on Jeremy Sochan. I don't know if I would.
Jeremy Sohan.
I don't know. But also, I'm not a draft. I'm not as big as a draft guy as Cyro. So, I'm definitely not. What's that? Oh no, I'm thinking of Mel Kiper from the NFL. But I think it'll be interesting. I'm hoping we get some trade ups. You got a lot of guys like Benedict, Jalen Duren, Johnny Davis. They're interesting players. I just think there's going to be a fair amount of busts. Mark Williams at 7'2" is really interesting. I'm trying to think of that guy who Swaggy made a video on yesterday. He got I think Kai Soto. Is that a player? Is Kai Soto a player?
Kai Soto from the NBL. He's from. I just made a video that has over 10,000 views regarding.
Okay, yeah. So I'm making a Kai Soto video after this video immediately, but I'd almost rather if I have picked 14, I'd taken a gamble on this guy. He's got 50,000 views, Kai Soto. So
yeah.
Here's your mock.
Yeah. So right here, this was my mock from last week. I'll probably update it because a few guys have left the draft, such as what do you call it? I believe a few guys in the 2nd round are in the draft, like Taquavian Smith decided to return to school. Either way, this is what I have right now. If Portland keeps the pick, I have them going Benedict Mathurin. But again, as more and more time, I think they're going to trade that 7th overall pick for Jeremy Grant. They'll try to get someone better than Jeremy Grant, but I think if they can't get anyone better than Jeremy Grant, they're just going to send the 7th pick for Jeremy Grant because they have a trade exception, so they don't have to send any players. So they'll probably just send the trade exception and the 7th pick for Jeremy Grant and call it a day. Pretty easy deal. And I think and the Pistons will probably be like, we're cool with that. We want 2 first-round picks. But, I have AJ Griffin going at 10 right now. He's the best 3-point shooter in the draft, but he suffered a significant injury. I think it was an Achilles or a knee injury in high school and has never recovered. And he's became a horrendous defensive player, but he's the son of an NBA player. And his dad's also a coach who got interviewed for the head coaching job of the Lakers 2 weeks ago. So he comes from a basketball. I just very much like guys who are either former professional basketball players' sons who played overseas or just former NBA players who were role players' sons.
100%.
Just because they know the grind, you know?
Mm.
I think the biggest surprise people will be shocked by is Jalen Williams, the guy who shocked people in the combine out of Santa Clara, and it's because Jalen Williams is 6'6" with a 7'2" wingspan, and he literally was the only guy who decided to play in both combine games. So I think that was the most impressive part, and I thought that was so much fun. So yeah. All right, any thoughts before we head out of here?
Is Kai Soto not projected to be drafted?
No, he's supposed to go in the second round as of right now.
Idiots.
Give me one second. I keep getting a call. What? Did you come home in?
What? Was he not talking to me? All right, so
my sister just texted me. She's like called me like 3 times. I'm muting myself. Just run off of this. I got called 3 times.
Well, I really think when you start looking into it, I do think Portugal needs to start more textile exports. Kai Soto. I need to do some research on Kai Soto. The more into the draft we go since the lottery, the more interested and intrigued I've been about this draft. If you asked me about 6 months ago, I would have said, I think it's interesting. I don't know if this draft will be great, but now it's starting to get a little bit interesting to me. So, yeah, but definitely I'd start exporting more textiles if I'm Portugal. So,
you talking about Portugal? My sister just called me because she's like, "Did you come home last night?" I was like, I was like there last night. She just called me about my dog.
Oh, you have a dog?
Yeah, I have a blue pit bull.
Oh.
Yeah, her name's Jasmine. Jazmin. Little cute girl. Yeah. So, I think the NBA draft will be interesting. Either way, I think that's what we have for today. I don't know what else we could talk about right now. I'm kind of lost for thoughts. I think there's definitely way more I could talk about right now. I think if you think about in the NBA draft this year,
I got something for you.
Go for it. I was just gonna go on a tangent.
60 seconds. Give me everything about Kai Soto.
All right, Kai Soto. He's the son of 2 former PBA Filipino Basketball Association players. His uncle is considered one of the greatest Filipino basketball players of all time. His dad was okay. He played like a few seasons. And Kai Soto, he was originally going to play for the G League Ignite, but because of COVID restrictions, he ended up pulling out and then played a season for the NBL on one of the, I think, better teams. And he actually averaged a decent amount of points. And Kai Soto's 7'3". The Filipinos love him. And the thing with him is he's a guy who looks like he could hit threes, but all in all, what he really seems like he could be is, I think, a very similar player to what people think Mark Williams can be this year, but I think a better shooter. Mark Williams is being heralded as, having the second best measurements since Taco Falls. And Kai Soto, we don't know his measurements, but he's 7'3". Mark Williams is 7'1" with a 7'7" wingspan. So we can only imagine that Kai Soto at least has a 7'7" wingspan, being at 7'3". So you just think about Kai Soto, and also that he played in the NBL. He's a little older. He's a guy, even though he's probably going to be, he might go in the late first, but I really think he's going to be a second-round pick that can come in and play day one. He's had over 10 private workouts after being not invited to the NBA Combine.
Embarrassing. I think he's going to be a gem.
I think
he's going to be a gem.
I think so too. Go.
If you're a team like Toronto with that early second-round pick,
he doesn't fit Toronto's draft type.
Okay, maybe a better example would be you're a team late first, early second round, and you, no matter what you need, maybe you go Kai Soto just because of the potential there.
I really want Orlando to draft him, but I could also see the Rockets. I could see the Pelicans. At the same time, I think the team that's going to draft him is a development-heavy team, a team that we've seen develop players.
Mm-hmm.
So when I think of that, Toronto Raptors could because they need the size. But I'm thinking, what if the Utah Jazz trade Rudy Gobert?
Oh, that's cool. I like that. That's a trade-off right there. That's interesting.
You get rid of Rudy Gobert, you bring in Kai Soto.
Yeah.
You still have Udoka Azubuike.
Mm-hmm.
Let's see what those two guys can do.
What did Shaq say? If you're over 7 feet, you should be averaging 25 and 18, 28 and 15, something like that.
I completely agree. Like, I think the problem with a lot of big men today, again, this is why I'm not in the NBA and I'm behind a microphone, but I think they're soft. Again, for me, when I play basketball, being at 6'1", I'm a pretty freaking physical guy because I know I'm not huge and I'm skinny. Mm-hmm. But imagine if I was 7 foot tall and like 250 pounds. I would be the biggest, baddest douchebag ever. I would literally be throwing wild elbows. I would be imposing my will. If you were smaller than me, I would make sure that you'd have bruises every time you touched me.
I like it.
I just think I agree with Shaq. I just think Shaq is the definition of what could have been the greatest basketball player of all time. And he only tried 60% of the time. Like, if you look at Shaquille O'Neal from the day he left Orlando to the day he went to LA, he completely changed his body type. Shaq used to put the ball on the ground and like dribble and like actually like do like spin moves and crossovers and like cross fools up, and was like skinny and had like a military haircut because he was raised by a military father. And then Shaq went to LA, put on, I think it was 100 pounds, and was just like, damn, I can just not even work, like try and still be dominant as hell. Like everyone talks about that Shaq was the greatest waste of talent because he didn't really try. Imagine if he actually tried.
Yeah.
Like, supposedly Shaq was never in shape. He was only in shape in Orlando. So for, I think it's almost 15 years, he was never in shape. He said he played out of shape, overweight for the entirety of his career, except in Orlando.
It's wild.
Yeah. So imagine if he had stayed in shape. Probably career's a little longer, which he said his career would have been longer or like wouldn't have fallen off as bad.
Mm-hmm.
But yeah, I love Shaq. But like, you
20,
think about
21-year-old Shaquille O'Neal in his second year in the NBA, 29.3, 13.2 rebounds, 2.9 blocks. Oh my God.
And what was his stats when he went to LA?
It's actually not too bad. His first season with LA was 26.2 points, 12.5 rebounds, and 2.9 blocks.
Yes. So
didn't really see a fall off until when he was 31, 2003, 2004. Lost
and then he got
6
sent to
points.
Miami.
Yep.
Yeah, and right here, Thomas Perry said best, as Kobe said, if I had his work ethic, Shaq would have been the best of all time.
It's fair.
That's so true. I mean, Shaq's incredible. Shaq's still awesome, and he's still rich as all hell. But you look at guys like Andre Drummond. Andre Drummond is a double-double machine if he wanted to. But Andre Drummond just doesn't. Andre Drummond literally played himself out of LA. You remember during that run where he'd be like running down the court, like talking to people on the court? Like,
oh, God.
And he'd be like going there. I was like, Andre Drummond, go fucking play defense. Yeah, get back on defense.
He's stupid.
Alrighty. So, are you 100% moved in?
Moved in or out? Out, yeah.
I guess both. Yeah. Are you moved out completely? And
yep.
Are you just
lease ended yesterday.
So are you unpacking today or done unpacking already?
I'll probably take that all week. Probably it's like everywhere.
Would you move into an apartment or back?
I'm just home.
Oh,
back home. Okay. Moving to Florida in September, so I got some time here.
Where have you decided?
We haven't decided a spot yet. We're still looking a little south of Tampa, Sarasota, or maybe down in Cape Coral.
Cape Coral. Yeah,
Yeah.
right now I'm like I got another job offer in
Ooh, nice.
bumfuck Wisconsin.
Ah,
It's 3 hours from Minneapolis and 3 hours from Milwaukee. Those are the two nearest cities.
lame.
Yeah, but it's an anchor and reporter job, so
Ooh, an anchor, like a head at main, like a.
I don't think head anchor, but to be a co-anchor, which is like
That's cool. That's
yeah,
super cool.
yeah. But I'm right now leaning towards the Sarasota job, even though it's like a
Yeah.
journal. It's more of being a journalist, like multimedia journalist instead slash reporter
Mm.
instead of anchor slash reporter. Sarasota is just so much nicer sounding
Dude,
than
I was just
Wisconsin.
I was just in Wisconsin. I like it's cool here and there, but it's even like cellular, like you can't if you're in Wisconsin, you're out of the loop. I mean, it's boring there unless you like hunting and fishing and yeah.
Yeah, the place is called Wasau. WASAU. Wasau.
It'd be something I'd have to short term commit to it, and I'd have to I'd have to find a girlfriend. I'd have to.
The only way I'd go, I was telling my girlfriend, was if they paid me like almost $70,000 a year, and I'd only work there a year or two,
Mm,
and literally find a new job. I would just use it as an experience because 70 G's out the gate would be dope.
yeah.
But no, yeah. Right now, I'd be super. I was telling her, I was like, if Florida's paying me $10,000 less, I'm taking Florida. I don't care for the $10,000 difference. I'm taking
Hell
the
yeah.
I'm taking the breeze, the waves.
I mean, by that time we'll have your YouTube will have 50K at least. This will have 50K at least. So,
Hopefully, that. All right, boy. I gotta actually take a shit. So I hope you have a great day. Are we gonna
you
do
as well.
this Friday?
Yeah.
All right, word. I'll
Good
see you then,
Friday.
bro. Good luck unpacking.
Thank you. Peace.
Peace.